Ever since I heard about the premise of Superman Red Sun, I wanted to see a film or a mini-series about it, and the newest DC animated movie didn't disappoint. It was a very interesting film. Truly fascinating watching a Superman who's a Soviet superhero instead of an American one, and he fights for communism instead of the American way. It was pretty interesting, to say the least. I have yet to read the source material this is based on, but it's obvious that this isn't an adaptation of something else, something much larger and more engrossing than what this movie had to offer. There were a lot of key moments throughout the plot that felt rushed, and a few even felt like that they came out of nowhere, to the point where it seems almost like they were just throwing shit to the wall to see what would stick. But somehow, maybe thanks to the direction, the film managed not to come off too convoluted. I think the character interactions helped with that. Everything that has to do with the characters, in particular with Superman, was relatively well done. I'm calling bullshit on the spotlighted review this film has on IMDb. The first thing they criticize this movie for is that it's emotionless, and that's ridiculous. Watching Superman saving his childhood friend from the gulags, or him witnessing Superior Man / Bizarro dying, had more emotion in it than anything in the last 3 films of the DC Extended Universe combined. I understand being let down with a lackluster adaptation of something you love. I'm not saying this movie is great, because it isn't, but there are moments that are well done, and the story has so much to offer that it's easy to find things to like about the film. Like I said before, everything in Superman's storyline is great, most of the rushed elements belong to the other characters. I'm gonna go through some spoilers now, but nothing too detrimental to your enjoyment of the film. There's a sequence where Batman managed to capture Wonder Woman with her own lasso of truth, and it's never really explained how a normal person who dresses up as a bat found a way to trap a super-powered humanoid being that is pretty much a goddess on her own, and all the contraptions and solutions that Lex Luthor comes up with to deal with communist Superman felt incredibly cheap and like they were in the film with the sole purpose of having more elements from DC mythology. It was enjoyable and the action scenes were really cool, but everything felt rushed. The best aspects were without question the more serious themes and watching Superman trying to reason why his worldview is better than everyone else's. Batman had an important role to play, but so did Wonder Woman in that regard. And on a side note, although I haven't read the source material, I do know a few things, and something that stood out was Wonder Woman's storyline. It didn't make much sense to have her go through a similar arc when in the movie she doesn't fall in love with Superman, unlike in the comics. Here, she just considers him a friend. I understand the reason for why this version of Wonder Woman did not like men, or any version really. After all, she did grow up on an island filled with only beautiful women. It's not illogical that she's attracted to women, but her role in the film has less of an impact and makes less sense because she just considers Superman a friend. They didn't do enough of a good job to justify a lot of the things Wonder Woman does throughout the film. But I did enjoy her presence. I'm giving Superman Red Sun a 4 out of 10. I know it's a worse rating than the one from that IMDb review I was criticizing earlier, but that review was nonsense. They said nothing positive about the film and yet gave it a 5 out of 10. This is why I don't like reading reviews from normal people. They don't know how to make a review. By the way, the only reason I'm giving this movie a 4 and not a 5 is because of the animation. It was pretty weak when compared to something like that My Hero Academia movie I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. There wasn't a lot of movement. They could have put more effort in showing an energetic world, a world that could actually function and exist. And the story, despite enjoying most of it, had a lot of plot points that should have been better developed or completely left out in order for this to be a more concise film. But the final product isn't terrible, and again, everything in Superman's narrative is great. That's the main reason why I like this movie so much. I wish HBO or Netflix would do a proper version of this story, or an adaptation of the source material that I have yet to read. Watch this if you are already interested by the premise, otherwise I don't think you'll get much out of it. Anyway, see you next time.